The State Bank of India has filed an application in the Supreme Court seeking clarifications on the court's March 27 order on the manner of fraud classification by banks. The plea suggests limiting the scope of personal hearing in cases of fraud. It says borrowers should be allowed access to only the relevant extracts of the forensic audit report and not the report in entirety. According to SBI, this is the only way to comply with the principles of natural justice. But why did SBI come out with this plea in the first place? The bank argues that assuring in-person hearing of all accounts suspected of fraud would not only delay the process but also allow the accused to destroy evidence and abscond country. Business Standard's Tamal Bandyopadhyay explains SBI's apparent disagreement with SC's verdict.
For the past few years, there have been pressure from Reserve Bank of India, the RBI notification that Supreme Court has reacted to that, and then the Finance Ministry also have been putting pressure on the banking system to fasten the process of identifying the fraud accounts. Now, bankers are not exactly, they do it with full speed because there are multiple reasons, because we believe in our system is of consortium banking. There are only very few accounts are only sole lender. And State Bank of India being the lead bank of multiple consortium lendings to different entities, which turned into fraud. So this is not surprise that being the largest lender, and State Bank is one of the top 50 lenders globally. And of course, India's thing, it's about, I think, a little over 1/5 of the banking system is represented by State Bank of India. So I'm not surprised that State Bank of India, it's not out of the blue because State Bank of India is involved. State Bank of India had moved Supreme Court along with Reserve Bank of India.
It is not as if banks presently do not allow hearings before declaring an account fraud. The difference is that while willful defaulters are given a hearing, fraudsters are not. Banks have to maneuver an intricate maze of processes and guidelines that involves RBI, Central Economic Intelligence Bureau, Department of Financial Services, and many others. The plea points out that allowing in-person hearing despite having an existing detailed mechanism will only add an extra layer of compliance, which will allow the accused to delay the investigation. What possible impact could be there on the financial health of banks if the process of identification of fraudulent accounts is delayed?
I think the delay would impact the ultimate filing of FIR with the authorities, the CBI or police authority, because although there is no prohibition in filing FIR without declaring an account of fraud, but still, if it is a borrower account, because this circular takes into account two types of frauds. One is perpetrated by the borrower, another by internal players of the bank within the banking system. So there you don't need to give them any opportunity. If you have come to know the commission of a offense, so you are supposed to report it to the investigating agency. So the obligation to report is immediate, but because of internal procedures by the bank take the usual time reporting to RBI and then internal committee deciding on the issue. So bank should be given liberty to decide the timeline, but how much time is to be provided, within which time the borrower has to respond.
Earlier, banks could not allow hearing in cases of fraud accounts since the RBI circular of 2016 mandated a strict deadline. The SC, in its verdict, had asked to ensure in-person hearing within a set timeline. On the bank side, the process of identification anyway takes a long time. 90.6% of frauds reported in FY19 were the ones committed between FY 2001 and FY 2018. So, how can the financial system be safeguarded while ensuring natural justice is preserved as well?
Banks are calling them fraud. Identifying their fraud after the due procedures. And whether the entity has been given an opportunity to be heard or not, that's a separate story. But the entity has been kept in the loop at every stage. But the weak link in the entire process is our investigative agencies. I'm not talking about the forensic audit. I'm talking about, let me be very blunt, CBI. It's an utter failure. It's unfortunately our investigative agency particularly I'm naming again SBI, is not well equipped in this particular area of financial sector fraud. Unless our investigative agency is well equipped to handle the banking sector related issues, the frauds, I think this delay will continue.
While there is no disagreement on following the process of natural justice, the Supreme Court's directive can further slow down fraud investigation by banks. Experts believe a well-equipped and skilled investigative agency can come in handy to hasten the processes. It now remains to be seen how the Apex Court reacts to SBI's plea.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.